carefulness it wrought in you.
What carefulness? An issue had taken place. Okay, and Paul in the first letter rebuked them for what they had done. So they straightened themselves out. They straightened out the situation. Okay, so Paul is writing a second letter now, and he's telling them, he's giving them a good word of encouragement and of approval. He says, what?
What carefulness it wrought in you. Yeah, what clearing of yourselves. Yeah. Yea, what indignation. Yea, what fear. Yea, what vehement desire.
Are you reading some more Bibles?
Yeah.
You should get rid of all those other Bibles.
What zeal.
Get yourself a Bible.
Yea, what revenge. In all things you have approved yourselves to be clear in this matter.
There you say. You see. In all things, you have shown to be what? Come on, class. You have shown yourself what? Clear. Clear. In the Spanish Bible says limpio, clean. In this matter, in other words, you have cleaned it up, you have mopped the mess, you have picked it up, you have done the right thing. So the problem is not if you made a mistake or what happened. How have you responded to whatever it has taken place in your life? And it says, what indignation? You see what it says there? What do you mean? How many of you have said, why? No, you hate yourself for it? None of you have ever? Yes. Okay, that's what he's saying there. What indignation brought in you? Was I stupid? What was, another word, expression. What was I thinking? Right? And you feel frustrated since you cannot be mad at anybody in particular. If you have a cat, watch out, cat. If you have a dog, watch it out, watch it too. If you have a door, probably it's going to be slammed. Some people break a mirror, hit it, because it's the image of their face, right? So, what indignation? But he says, you have shown yourself to be that, to do what? In this thing. That's a good response. The ability to respond. Now, as I continue to study the Word, responsible. Can you give me a word or an expression or an explanation of what the word responsible means?
Accountable.
Okay. That's one. You feel that you have to give an account. Okay. Accountable. And this is what the dictionary says in the research that I made, because I have to check it out. The quality of being able to answer for one's actions or conduct. The quality of being able to answer for one's actions or conduct. When people do something, the first reaction is to do what? Blame. Sometimes blame, sometimes to excuse it.
Yeah. I want to say, I had this problem. A lot of times my students say, like every time if I catch them doing something, I would say 99% of them lie to me, even if I see them do it. And I think that's a problem. Most people, they don't want to take account for the negative. They want the positive, but they don't want to, be accountable for the negative things that they've done. So they want to just avoid it, pretend like it didn't happen.
Right. And that's very important because some of us were taught that. But the thing is that sometimes all the children were not taught that, and the parents accepted all the excuses. For example, in our home, and Sister Brittany's here, she was little when she started coming to our house, go to school and things like that. But when we deal with the grandchildren, they are growing up already in their teens, and I say, what about this? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear an excuse. Don't go around the bush. tell me this long story. Why not? No, I don't want to hear that. Tell me why. Because we need to be responsible. We cannot blame this. I know that there are exceptions. We cannot go to the other extreme, and we don't know how to bend certain times. But we need to realize that we need to be able to answer for our conduct and actions. And this involves, according to the dictionary, trustworthiness. When you are trusted, because you have gained that, and that's to be respected. The fact that you are trustworthy, worthy of being respected. Now, ability, able to respond. That's it. Think. Does that satisfy you? How many agree with that? That able to respond spells totally responsibility. Do you think there's something is lacking there?
Yes.
Like what?
To do something.
Action.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's the response. Response is a word.
You have the ability to respond.
But does it need something else? It has seasoning in it. I'm just asking. There may not be something else. I'm just asking. I'm just trying to test you to see.
Oh, he's still producing you. Down by the script, they're saying.
Yeah, but the response ability, the ability to respond.
It's not just the ability, you have to actually do it. We may all have the ability, but we may not always do it. We may not always
Okay,
feel it.
you're getting closer now. Okay, is the ability to respond correctly? Because you can respond.
Right.
We all respond. We all have a response.
Right.
We all have the ability to respond. So it's not just the ability to respond or to act. It's to do it right. Right? Today is what?
February 2nd.
NFL Super Bowl.
It is? Already?
I heard that. I don't know. I'm not following.
Yes, today.
I'm not following.
Shut up.
Okay. Now, can this ball be trusted?
It's an inanimate object.
No. Simple no.
I was going to bring two, but I only could come up with one, thinking that maybe I had another one over here. What's wrong with this ball in the negative? In the negative.
What's wrong with
Well, it's not dirty. That's not the point. Okay, some people say you grab it here, you throw it. I don't think I have thrown a football 10 times in my life. So I don't know how to grab it right. Okay. I have a problem with this ball. Do you see?
It's not serving a purpose.
Well, let's say, no, it served the purpose of the game.
Or not here.
Yeah, but the ball itself. What's wrong with this? Okay, this is what happens with this ball. And the problem is that the floor here is not the proper place. If I do like this,
No air.
No, it doesn't bounce.
you don't know which way it's going to bounce.
Yeah, it bounced all over.
It could bounce this way, it could bounce that way.
It's not trustworthy.
If I get a basketball, I do it like this and I know it's going to come to me. But with this, see, it didn't come to me.
Sorry.
That's
Are
correct.
you really?
You should fear God for two reasons. One is out of pure
Okay, so
respect.
it could go maybe this way, it could go away. If the floor is flat, maybe ceramic or cement, it will be more predictable. It's more predictable because it's rough. But this is the same thing that happens with people. People have a problem. Let's say people, I'm included in that group because I'm a person. But we have a problem is that if we don't have Holy Spirit control, whenever we face something in our way or on our way, you say in or on? In our way, we might bounce this way, we might bounce that way, we might bounce this way, and we don't know. So when a person is this way, in a matter of time, a person gets a reputation of not being trustworthy because you don't know how the person is going to react or respond. You follow me now? Do you know people in the workforce or in school that you didn't know how they were going to be when they came in? Mad, sometimes sickly, happy, get under your skin. Happy, good morning. Isn't this a beautiful day? This is wonderful. You know what I mean? You say, what's wrong with this person? Maybe 2 days later, they come, shut the door, and walk by you, don't even say good morning. So you cannot be sure if the person is mad, the traffic made him frustrated, or if these people are called today, people that are one way, yeah, they call it bipolar. I have a name for that. Cardinal. By Cardinal. But the thing is that we need to be sure that we have the ability to respond correctly. Now, any questions? You got all that? Yeah. Okay. Having said that, let us bring it home, because these are things that we deal with. Okay. How do we respond to being hurt? That's a good one. Do we get mad? Do we have a chip on our shoulder? Do we get angry? Become bitter?
It all depends on the person, how they are. Some people are more emotional than others. If you're not that emotional, you'll get more angry. But if you're more emotional, you'll get all sad. And then that's true.
Right.
Yeah, introvert.
Right. So there's always a good way to respond. Angry, being angry is a feeling, a sentiment that is in every one of us. The Bible says, angry, be angry and sin not. What you do with your anger is the problem. Yeah. Now, angry and other words that are related can be confused. But when you feel angry, there's a justifiable anger, and Jesus felt anger when his house was being misused. And God is angry. Man can make God angry. So there's a holy anger. But our anger can never, as humans that we are, go to the place that on purpose we hurt somebody. But when we are hurt ourselves, some people invent hurts because they think that somebody said something against them, or they misread or they misinterpret what was said. And that's very important. Our ability to respond correctly when you are hurt. When you are hurt, what do you do? What should you do as a young person?
Forgive them.
Put it on Facebook,
No.
Twitter, call somebody in the cell, and tell him how you're feeling. As a Christian, what should be your first reaction? Once, yeah.
Take it so personal.
Take it to God in prayer first. Pray. And you let God deal with you
Vent,
and tell him how you feel about it, and God is going to show you if there's something that you have to do. But you go to God and pray. You talk to your Father. You tell him. Okay, don't throw it on me. Don't look at me funny. Don't look at me like if I'm the culprit, or you see that? Culprit or the guilty one. I didn't do nothing to you. Somebody else didn't do nothing to you. So don't pick on somebody else. You go to God and you pray about it, and you don't get from your knees until you got it settled. That's what we do. These are our, how would I say, our recipes.
There's a difference between us and the world.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
Yeah, those are the recipes that we have. You had upset stomach in the world, what do we say? Pectoris ball, Alka-Seltzer, you know, those are recipes, right? Chamomile tea, manzanilla.
Ginger ale
Yeah, ginger ale is very good.
and Gatorade.
Recipes. Okay, this is a recipe. You go to God in prayer when you are hurt. That will help you to respond, or to give you the ability to respond correctly when you're hurt. The other is challenges. What about when you're challenged? Sometimes we don't like to be challenged. People resent being challenged. Sometimes we don't want new things. I was just talking this morning to somebody, and the person was telling me that about the fear that this person has to move, even though the person is losing money and wasting money. And what is the answer? I'm afraid, because if I have to make adjustments. Well, make adjustments. You're going to be saving way over $100, or maybe $2. So people sometimes are afraid of challenges in your job, changes in your life. You don't run away. You don't hide. You know, they use this word or expression to stick your head in the where?
Sand.
Why?
To hide from the problems.
Why? Why did they come up with that?
What? Yeah, the
You know that's not true?
Yeah.
The ostrich doesn't
Ostrich,
stick their
they don't stick their, yeah. They don't.
That's right.
It is in the cartoons. It is, everybody says it, but it is not true.
I was wondering how they put their head in there. Just to make it hold
Right.
there.
Don't camels stick their head to sand?
Yes, but that's different. No, they hide behind dunes and things like that. But by the time that an ostrich opens a hole to stick their head, the lion already got it.
Yeah,
There's not time to.
A gigantic overcoat.
Yeah, it's like if he has a, you know, how you call it? Shovel. To make a head enough. I mean, a hole big enough. Okay. But challenges can make us edgy. Edgy. E-D-G-Y. Edgy. And when you are edgy, you are what? Afraid.
Yeah, that's it.
And when you're afraid, you can get out of control. Fear makes us do all kinds of stupid things. Change.
That's what you need.
Change. You are at a time when you are going to make changes. The most important changes. That's why I like this class. Because you are like a moon around your, and you're about to make changes. The most important changes of your life is when you reach this time in your life. Changes. Changes are painful. And I know that because some of you can identify with this. We came to this country and we have to make changes, adapting ourselves to a new culture, new rules, new language, and believe me, it brings fear to the point that sometimes you can't sleep at night. But with God's help, we can have the ability to respond correctly. What you do whatever you have to do. You don't get in the corner and put the pillow over your face and have a good cry, okay? Even crying is okay, but the time it doesn't work. Disappointments. When people disappoint you, that's a good one. Wow. I have a list of people that disappointed in my life, and it hurts. People that I trusted, people that worked with me in the ministry, people that I counted as friends, people that I thought they were rocks, and people that I thought I could lean on, and they were not there when I needed it. That's disappointment, and it hurts. And when it does, you have to have the ability to respond correctly. You cannot get bitter, you cannot start asking questions, why in the world he did do that? You know why he do that? Because he's a human being. And when you're surrounded by human beings, remember you're surrounded by people who have faults, they're weak, they can be deceived, they can fail, disappointments, hard to swallow, disappointment in marriage, disappointment in relationships, disappointment in people that you look up to, okay? But we can deal with it. Then we have the ability to respond to Christ's biddings. Biddings, you got it? Biddings is invitations. Yeah, I bid you. Yeah. Right. To respond to Christ's biddings. For example, Zacchaeus, come down from the tree. That I need to go to your house. He had the ability to what? To respond correctly. He took it to his house. And so forth and so on. Others didn't have the ability to respond correctly to the biddings. Sell everything you have and follow me. To the rich ruler, he didn't have the ability. So, since we have to give an account, we need to be sure that as you pray, as a young person, that this is part of something that you need to engraft or put into your life. The ability, because there are people today, I know people today, that are old enough, and I'm talking about beyond 50, they are holding grudges and things of the childhood and things that they cannot get over, even though they don't talk about it. They have it there. It's part of their lives. It's ingrained in their thinking. They cannot get away from it. And even though they might teach and they might say things and teach others, they cannot get away from issues that they had way back when they were young. Can I go a little deeper? Since we're talking here to little children. What about rape? What about sex abuse? What about things that we don't want to actually talk about? But there comes a time in your life in which you have to get over that. Because if not, it will be like having a 2,000-pound rock around your neck. You know what that means? That you cannot move, because there's no way that you can move a 2,000-pound rock if it's around your neck. So you need to be able to respond. And if these people would have gone to God and move on, their life would be different today. But what they do, they dwell in the past. And every time there's a crisis, they bring the issue back again. Broken marriages, things that happen, things over, done. They go back, they drag those old dirty rags again. What for? In most cases, nobody cares about it. So as young people, if you begin to adapt these things to your life or put them into practice, they will bring deliverance to your walk with God. They will bring a liberty to your spirit, to your mind. And believe me, if there's a time that you need a clear mind, it's today. Because we are being bombarded all the time with the wrong type of information and disinformation. Okay, this is not a monologue. I want you to get into the class and ask. Is that a question?
Br.Alex, I have a question about when you're talking about bringing things up from the past. When somebody does something to you repeatedly, to the point where it becomes toxic, you do not, in my understanding, I don't have to, I can forgive them, but I don't have to keep that person in my life, right?
No, you don't have
Because it becomes something.
No, you don't. You move on.
Move on.
Yeah, you leave that person behind. I don't care who the person might be, even if the person professes to be saved, you can be nice to them, say hello, and all that, but there are some people that they're leeches to your heart and to your mind, and they stick to you, and they try to remind you, and that you cannot live that way. God doesn't want you to be that. God called you to be free. Yes.
What if it's something that a situation that you've tried to make yourself move on from, but something reminds you of it and you,
Okay,
like you're reminded of it?
okay, if you're reminded of it, then you go to God in prayer and you ask God to help you with that. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because I have found myself in situations where I had to get over some things that I carried for a number of years, things that made me weep and cry as a man. And my wife said, honey, you're gonna have a heart attack. Look at your face in the mirror. And I could not tell her what I was going through. But one day God said, enough. So I went to my room and I closed the door and I got on my knees and I prayed and I said, Lord, I'm not going to carry this anymore. Because it was not something that had to do with me. It had to do with somebody else. And I said, I cannot carry this anymore. So I want to get up from here and be free from this thing. And I prayed through. Nothing happened at that moment, but I think that the prayer that I had made was effective. And about 25 minutes later, 30 minutes, I felt like a breeze, like a coolness that came over me and lifted that thing from me till today. So it works, okay?